Okay, so today we are going to learn how to make a sublimation mug. We are going to make this mug exactly here, just a bigger version. I absolutely love this design. I think the nude colors are so pretty, and I think the simplicity of the Be Kind is just really cute. In order to make this design, you're going to need a couple of supplies. You're going to need a mug. We offer the 11 ounce and the 15 ounce. You can see the size is quite different. The shape is a little bit different as well, but you can choose either one. Scissors, some type of measuring tool, rubbing alcohol, paper towel, heat tape, sublimation paper, butcher paper. So just a big enough piece that you'll be able to wrap it around your mug when you put it in your heat press. Some type of mug press or the like. I have a Cricut mug press. Some type of sublimation printer. I have the ET15000. You're also going to need a design program. So I use Silhouette Studio. I have upgraded to the business edition, but the basic edition is free. So we're just going to go here to open our file. You'll find whatever you have it saved as, and you will open it. We're going to open it as a PNG. Okay, so when you open it, it's going to be kind of big, so we're going to resize it to the size that we want. So in order to determine the size you want your design to be, you will need to measure your cup. So the 15 ounce one is about just under 4.5 height. I've decided that the best option would be 3 inches wide. So I'm going to highlight my image so there's a box around it. And I'm going to make sure the lock symbol is closed here. That way, whenever I adjust one dimension, the other dimension will adjust automatically to keep the image in proportion. So I'm going to adjust the width to 3 inches. So you can see our width is 3 inches and our height changed to 2.735 inches. You have to flip the image so when it gets transferred to the product, it's the correct way. So I'm going to make sure this is highlighted. I'm going to double click and I'm going to flip the image horizontally. That way our image is going to print backwards, but when it gets transferred to the product itself, it will be the correct way. Now I like to do an image on both sides of my mug instead of just one side. So I'm going to double click here, hit copy, and I'm going to click next to it and hit paste. This is going to allow me to print 2 of the exact same image. So I will go to File and I will choose Print. And this shows me that my images are in line with the paper. And I'm going to hit Print. So I'll just go through the print settings. I have my printer selected. I naturally let it do the default settings. I want 1 copy. The median quality is fine. I'm going to let it feed from auto select. That's fine as well. The media type I want to select is photo matte paper, and I want to make sure the quality is set at best. And then we can hit print. Okay, so this is my Epson EcoTank printer. Just going to open up the feed. I am going to place a sheet of my A-sub paper with the A-sub written on the top. It goes in your printer like this. Okay, my printer's already on. Images have printed. Now you need to be really careful with your printed images because any dirt or any dust or anything you get on them will actually show up on your mug when you sublimate. So just be very careful to not lay it face down on your table or anything. Next thing you're going to need is a piece of your paper towel and some of your rubbing alcohol. And you're going to put some rubbing alcohol on a paper towel. And you're just going to rub down your mug with it, just to make sure to get off any dust, debris, fingerprints, skin oils, etc. We want the mug to be nice and clean because any dust or debris or anything on your cup will show up once you sublimate it, and it will not come off. So we want to make sure the mug is nice and clean, and then try to not touch the mug as much as possible, just to handle it by the handle or the inside. You can see a bunch of black dots. I laid this image face down on my table after I had been doing another craft project, so that showed up on the image. I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to do a little bit of a border just because it helps with taping it to the mug. But we're going to cut our images. So just put our image like that. And I'm going to cut a little bit off the top as well, just to kind of help with placement because there's less of a border on the bottom. I try to make the border similar all the way around just so it helps me with measurements. I'll do the same with this one, just take a little bit off the top. I don't like the image to be right next to the handle. I like there to be a small space. So what I have found, what I like that works for me is 1 inch from the handle. Once the cup is dry, to place it on the cup. And I'm mostly holding it by the inside. My ruler. And you can kind of see through the image, through the paper where your image starts. So my image is starting there, just over 1/2 inch. So I want to move it out a little bit more because I like it to be about 1 inch on the 15-ounce mug. So that's about 1 inch exactly. And I try to go by the farthest part of the image. So the bottom here is the farthest part of the image. It's about 1 inch. I'm going to take a piece of my tape, and that's why I love this tape dispenser, is because you often only have one hand when you're taking off a piece of tape. So it helps to not have to take your hand off of your project. Okay, so I'm just going to put one piece of tape here, kind of just as a placeholder for my image. Smooth it out here. Now I'm going to measure from the top to the bottom because I want it to be a similar distance from the top of the cup and the bottom of the cup. This is, okay, so I have the line before the 1 about, and on the other side from my highest point, 2 lines before the 1. So my image needs to go down just a tiny bit. So that's why I only put the 1 piece of tape on here. I'll gently peel this off, and I peel the tape with the image because I don't want to rip the paper, but the tape comes off of the cup really easily for readjusting. Okay, it's crooked, so I will have to fix that. Okay, so 2 lines before the 1. Okay, so that's a good distance from top to bottom. Now I just want to straighten my image out because it is a little crooked. So I am gonna straighten that out there. Okay, that looks nice and straight to me. Okay, so I'm gonna put another piece of tape on the other side. Make sure it's all pressed nicely against the cup. Okay, and once I have a piece on both sides, I do recheck my measurements just to be sure. Okay, so remeasuring this, it's just about 1, that's perfect. Here, it's 2 lines before the 1, and here, that looks good to me. I'm gonna grab another little piece of tape, put one on the top, and then one more nice little piece to the bottom. You can put tape all the way around. I know that some people do, but I don't really find that that's necessary. It's pretty flush with the mug, and I'm gonna wrap butcher paper around it. So on the other side, my alcohol has dried up from my paper towel, so I'm gonna put a little bit more alcohol. I do want to wipe the other side again just because my hands were touching it a lot. So I want to make sure that the other side of the mug is clean before I put my image on. So I'm just gonna wipe this side down again. Okay. And while that's drying, okay, so it feels dry, so I'm gonna put this image here. And again, I'm gonna measure in from the side. I want it to be about 1 inch, so you can see I need to move it out a little. That's about 1 inch. Perfect. So I can put one piece of my tape here as a placeholder, just a small piece in case I need to adjust it. And I'll measure from the top and bottom again. So if I pull it over straight, it's just about the same measurement as the other side. Just double check the bottom here. Yeah, the measurement is pretty much the same as the other side. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna secure this to my glass. Put a small piece of tape on the other side. Make sure that it's taut against the glass. It's not loose. It's not gonna crinkle and put creases when I put it in the press. You can see it's nice and taut. I'm gonna put a small piece at the top here and a small piece at the bottom. Okay. So at this point, I'm gonna turn my Cricut mug press on, let it heat up. I don't like to turn it on until I'm ready because I don't like to leave it on for longer than it needs to be. But in this time, I can have a look at my cup and make sure it's how I like it. You can kind of see the image through if you look closely. So I just kind of like to try to make sure it looks centered and even. I feel like this side might be a little crooked, so the way I check for that, the lowest point of the words on this side, it's going to be basically 0.75, and then I measure on this side 0.75. So those are about the same, so I don't think it's crooked. I think sometimes because I don't cut my paper straight, it can throw me off. So I always try to look at my image and not the actual paper. That means it's heating up, the red light. When it goes green, that means it'll be ready to use. But in the meantime, I can get my butcher paper ready. I don't tape the butcher paper on, I just wrap it around the mug. It just helps prevent any of the image from being sublimated on my mug press, because it could then transfer to future projects, etc. You'll see when we finish and we take the butcher paper off, you're gonna see some of the image on the butcher paper, but the butcher paper stops it from actually going through to the machine. You can see the green light has come on, which means our mug press has been heated up. We're going to wrap the butcher paper around the cup. This is a little bit long, so I'm just going to cut some off of the end. I want it to go around the mug, but I don't need it to go around the handle. So I'm going to start at the handle, make sure my image is fully covered. Wrap it around until it comes on the other side. So just like this, perfect. And I don't want it coming over the edge because there's a heat plate at the bottom there. I don't want any paper to touch that. But you can see both images are fully covered. And then I'm going to make sure I hold it. And I'm gonna place it in my mug press, making sure that the butcher paper doesn't get squished or slides up. I want it to stay with my mug, so I can see on the bottom here. I can still see my butcher paper. So that's in, and then I'm just going to push down my heat press, and it's gonna start counting for me. So the Cricut mug press, I believe these symbolize minutes. So it'll be 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, it'll beep, kind of telling you that the mug is ready. So we're just getting near the end. You can see our last light. There you go. Our last light is now ready. So we're gonna push this up, take our mug out. I'm gonna turn off the Cricut mug press. So you heard it beep. That's how we knew it was ready to go. So you can see, as I mentioned before, some of our image would transfer onto the butcher paper. So that's why we use this, so it doesn't ruin our heat press, because I don't want that transferring on my mug press. So you have to be really careful because the mug itself is quite hot. So I do let it cool down for a bit before I do the peeling. I don't wait for it to be completely cool, but I don't like to try to burn my fingers while it's really hot. So we'll give that a few minutes to cool down. Okay, so it's been a few minutes. The mug's still really hot. Okay, still really hot, but I'm impatient. Okay, so you have the Be Kind mug with the image on both sides. So again, you can see the size difference between our two mugs. There's a little bit of a shape difference as well, as this one you can see at the bottom, and this one's more has like a curved bottom. So this one is 11 ounces and this one is 15 ounces. Thank you for tuning into my first video, guys, and I look forward to doing many more craft projects with you in the future. Bye for now.